Hey everyone, welcome to this channel. Today I want to review the 7artisan 50mm f1.8 autofocus lens, and this is a size comparison compared to the Sony Zeiss 55 f1.8. So same aperture, pretty much same focal length. This one is a bit longer, but look at the massive difference in sizes. The lens is called the 7artisan photoelectric 50mm f1.8 AF lens, and it is a $228 lens as of today. And the Sony 55mm, on the other hand, cost $900. It is a much smaller and much lighter lens than the 7artisan for the price of being much pricier. And the big difference is this one. Oh, this one might be also. This one is made of metal. This one as well. And yeah, it's just a massive lens. The only flimsy thing about it is the AF and manual focus toggle button. That's super easy to hit, so I'm probably going to leave it on autofocus all the time and tape it off. You can also update the software using the USB-C port right over here. This is a quick test on the autofocus for video. Going to do a bit of video going back and forth like I'm doing right now. This is the 35 f1.8 currently. I'm gonna pop in the 50mm, so it's gonna be a bit tighter, but yeah, just want to see how it looks. And right now I'm shooting at f2, 1/50th of a second, ISO 6400 on the A7 IV. Focus is on, the sensitivity is on 3, and the, let me see, the speed is on 4, so right in the middle. So this is the 7artisan, right now shooting at f1.8, and the closest focusing distance is about 50 centimeters or 1.64 feet, and I think that's about it-ish. I'm trying to see, which is the exact same distance as the Zeiss or Sony 55mm. Yeah, so let's start. I want to go back and forth and just to see how it looks and how the AF performs, and then I'm going to put the 50mm on it, 55mm, sorry, Sony on it, just to give you a little side-by-side. So there you go. I'm walking normally. The sensitivity is on 4, so it should be relatively fast. Not the fastest, but I don't want it to hunt. I just want to see how it fares, you know, if it managed to keep track of my face, my beautiful tired face. And every single lens that I have a problem or struggling, at least with the Sony, once you start getting really close like this. And I think we're, yeah, so autofocus, autofocus, autofocus. Now it seems to be on this side right here. So that seems to be the closest. So let me do back and forth a bit like this and try to look at the background if it's hunting or not. If it's bumping or if it's nice and smooth. I'm gonna go out and then back again. Well, pretty nice. And back again. To the right, just for the heck of it. All right, so that's, I think, pretty good actually. In photo mode, I was using it and trying to focus back and forth to infinity and back to a close distance, and it was not super snappy. It was pretty slow, I would say. Not crazy slow, but slow enough for me to not be able to, I think, shoot someone who is walking fast towards me. But anyway, let me do a bit back and forth like this. And then, yeah, that should be it. I can try to do the, let me try to put it on the fastest speed possible. So right now transition speed is at 4, I'm gonna go on 7. So this is the fastest it can get. So there might be some hunting in the background just because it's supposed to be the fastest. So, all right. Go out. Back again. Out. 1, 2. Seems to be taking about a second or so. 1, 2. Okay, so let me do another walking towards it. All right, guys. Okay, we're back with the 7artisan autofocus lens, and everything is on fast, snappy, so it should be a lot faster than before. Yeah, there you go. Okay, that is snappy. It's very similar to the Sony. Right now the autofocus, what is it called? I have it on wide, the area. I don't have it on the dot. It is on wide, so it's taking everything in the frame into account. So let me do a little. There's also, the background is also pumping a bit, but it could also just be the, you can see there's a bit of a, am I too close to focus here? Maybe, hold on, let me see. Okay, I might have been just too close to it. It seems to be doing really well in terms of autofocus. Let me put it back to some normal settings that I would use normally. So to put the IF subjects shift sensitivity, I have it on 3. Actually, let me put it back on fast. Let me leave it on fast, but I want the AF speed to be. I want the IF speed to be on normal, and usually I have it on 3. This is what I like. The speed of the autofocus. It's the more natural. Yes, it's just the more natural that I've been experimenting. Like if the background shows up, if someone shows up, you see how smooth it is. It's not as abrupt, and it's hard for me to tell because I'm just looking at the small screen. But to me, it seems that there's not that much pumping and hunting, so this is a good sign. Let me do a little hand again. So transition from one to another is pretty nice. It's a very natural transition. Okay, this is the 7artisan 50mm at f1.8, 32,000 ISO and 1/50th of a second. Still the AF sensitivity is on 4 and it's on 3, sorry. And AF transition speed is on 3. So everything is pretty much in the middle. Okay. Seems to be doing pretty well. Let me get out of the way. Still, yeah, same thing as the Sony. Took a bit of time to catch my my eyes. So it's the fade, the square, 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 and eye now. Interesting. Let me walk back. It's a beautiful green in the back. It's disgusting. It looks like it's doing pretty well. Should have done some side shot as well, but Anyway, this lens seems to be doing actually very well. Now the question is it worth it, and what are the cons? The cons is the body is huge, humongous, pretty heavy too compared to the Zeiss that I have here. That just fits in the palm of my hand like that. And it fits perfectly with the other Zeiss, the 35mm. Let me show you. Yeah, the 7artisan is such a huge lens for not much more. You're just obviously it's only 200 euros, 200 I think, yeah, around $200 for it, which is very, very cheap compared to, I think the 55 Zeiss is around 900 when it came out. Maybe I think you can find it for 600 to 800, maybe 700 on sales, which is about 2, 4, 6, you know, 3 to 4 times more expensive. And the other con is I told you about the toggle from AF to manual focus, super flimsy. I wish it was a much, I don't know, it sticks out too much, and it goes from one to the other way too easily. So like I said, I'm going to tape it. It does not have any, what is it called, ring, you know, gasket ring to stop the moisture or dust or anything like that to go into the sensor. And to be fair, none of the Sony prime lenses that I have, none of the 1.8 have that either, which is so embarrassing for quite inexpensive lenses. All my time runs, all the timers that I have this gasket. Let me show you on the 17 to 28. And this helps, yeah, with the moisture. And I'm so used to them that when I put this lens on, the 7artisan lens on it, it felt wrong because it went in way too smoothly. Whereas when I put the Tamron's lens on, there's a nice snug. Even my Sony, just like, you know, you can feel a bit more grind with when putting it on. This one felt way too smooth. Like, I don't know if there's a bit of play when I move it. I can even hear it. So it's not super, super tight on. That's the price to pay when you're paying 200 euros or dollars for a lens like this. And I haven't tried the manual focusing. Let me just do a little bit of that now. So I cannot really. Oh, it's actually really nice. The ring is much nicer, there's much more resistance than my Sony lenses, that's for sure. You can see how easily they are to turn. Even the Tamron. This one is nice actually. Let me try to do some focusing here. I don't have the peaking on. The focus throw is. I should be able to. Okay, now I'm at the closest. So yeah, this is the closest I can focus on. Yeah, I like the manual focusing. It's really nice. It's actually usable for once on such a lens. So kudos for that. And that's pretty much it. I think it's a really, really good lens in terms of autofocus in video mode. I might do another video if you guys are interested in photo mode. I think for any still subject, it will be perfect considering what it does in video. But fast moving subject, you might have a harder time focusing. And yeah, I wish it was also, I wish it could focus a bit closer. You will not be able to do any macro shots on this. My Tamron 28 to 75 is insanely good at getting really close focus on the products because you can get close to, I don't know, it's really, really close. Let me just show you afterwards at the end of this video. But anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up. This is a good lens, 200 euros, dollars. Can't go wrong with it if that's the type of lens that you want and you don't want to spend, I think, the same amount on the Sony 50mm f1.8, which is horrible. You get a hunting, you know, it's one of those lenses that still like moves around when it focuses. Everything with this lens is internal, cannot hear anything, super smooth. You will not hear it in video or in photo mode whatsoever, which is quite, an impressive achievement. Yeah, that's it. Consider subscribing, hit the like button, and yeah, I'm glad I'm back at doing lens reviews. I haven't done them in a while, and I think you guys appreciate those because they do get quite some engagement. So anyway, let me know in the comments below what you think about this lens. And here's a list of all the other lenses around that price. I actually thought that the 7artisan was the first 50mm autofocus lens for the Sony without being a Tamron or a Samyang, but there's actually a bunch of other lenses, so here's a list of it before I finish this video off. And in my next video I will compare the 7artisan to the Sony Zeiss 55mm f1.8. So should you buy this lens for video usage? My answer is yes, if you're going to use it for simple setups where your subject doesn't have to do some crazy movements, and even then I think you will still be fine. Yes, compared to a Sony lens, it is not as snappy, not as quick, but for 98% of my usage at least, I will be perfectly happy during interviews with this lens or simple walking towards the lens like that. And it did really well in a darker situation. The only drawback, I think, is the quality of the bokeh, of the background blur, and because it is a bit of a busy bokeh with some onion rings in it. But I'll show you a side-by-side in my next video comparing it to the 55mm f1.8 Sony.